What's up guys, SkittleRampage here. So today we have some anime Funko news updates, including One Piece restocks are now arriving, but some have errors. Now we also do have lots of new drops, release dates, and closer looks. So let's check it out. Hey everyone, welcome back to another video and happy Friday to you. It is now the weekend, so it's time to relax. Let me know in the comments down below, do you guys have anything going on this weekend? Anything special, or are you just kind of relaxing? Now, if you're wondering what me and Bailey are doing this weekend, we actually have a friend over from Texas, as well as I will be celebrating, finally, my birthday party this Sunday, because last Sunday was actually my birthday, but everybody was so busy that it just didn't work out with scheduling, so we're doing it this week. Anyways, though, that aside, today we do have lots of things to go over. But before we jump into that, we have our question of the day as usual, and that is, do you have a Funko Pop in your collection that is wearing boots? And I'm gonna go with Old Man Logan here. I swear, every time, every day, we have issues with the autofocus on the pops. Okay, so first up, I'm feeling like starting off with Pokemon here. So we do have first looks at 2 of the upcoming Pearlescent Pokemon Center exclusives, which does include Squirtle here. And this one actually looks not bad in the Pearlescent, I won't lie. He does have a chrome dome, I will say though. He looks very, very shiny. And the other exclusive was shared from a nerdy dad on Instagram, and we do have Mewtwo here. And I will say that probably is one of the best looking ones in that pearlescent color. Now this is the same situation for all of the other Pokemon Center exclusives in this Pokemon and Funko collab. Basically just taking the regular commons and painting them pearlescent. I think you guys kind of know how I feel about these by now. There's really not too much creativity put into this one, just repaints unfortunately. But let me know, do you guys like the look of these? Will you be going after them? The crazy thing about these as well is that they're such simple designs and they're literally just repaints, but they sell out every single time. But then again, Pokemon everything is usually popular, so I'm not surprised. Okay, so next up we do have some Funko Shop news here for you. So today actually, Nanami from Jujutus Kaisen did drop on the website. And crazy enough, he did not sell out. Now, if you didn't know, he actually only had about 14,500 stock loaded up on the website. And the reason I say it's kind of crazy that it didn't sell out is, one, that's really not that much stock because Shinobu or Demon Slayer, for example, had around the same, maybe a little bit more, I do believe. But just 14,000, given all the Jujutsu Kaisen fans, is not that much. Especially with the Season 2 hype right now, I really thought it was going to push this one to sell out on its first day. I do think it will eventually sell out, granted, but I was just a little surprised. However, at the same time, I'm also not too surprised that it didn't sell out because I kind of heard that Jujutsu Kaisen isn't one of Funko's strongest anime selling lines. Like, the first wave sold okay, but again, it wasn't like their strongest. Though I think this is worth mentioning, I've been seeing a lot of manga readers hyping up this one, saying that a lot happens later with Nanami's characters, so maybe it's worth picking one up. It could spike a little bit later on. And obviously the best time is to get him now while he's still in stock for retail. Now our other Funko Shop news included Naruto with Rasen Shuriken. So this one is set to drop on 8/7, which is this Monday, and it does have about 13,500 stock. And again, that's very similar to Nanami's stock, just about 1,000 less. Not that much you can see they're dropping on the Funko Shop lately. And again, this is part of Funko's new plan to kind of limit exclusives going forward. And if you're wondering, this is not all the stock they have. I'm sure it will probably go up in short bursts of restocks because they also send out some of these stock to their stores, as well as they probably keep some in reserve for damages, and then they also send a bunch overseas. Honestly, with Naruto being as popular as it is, there is a likelihood that this one could sell out, but who knows? That's everything for the Funko Shop right now. Let me know if you guys are excited about either of those exclusives, and how was your experience actually, really quick? One more question with Nanami this morning. I was kind of noticing some people were having issues checking out on the website today, but they were able to check out on their phone just fine. I actually checked out on my phone and it was relatively very easy because I did think this one was going to be much more complicated today, but it was very, very smooth for a majority of people. Okay, so moving on, we do actually have first in-person looks at the with the Spirit of Zephyr exclusive here. So sharing from Abernathy Customs on Instagram, here are your first looks at the glow on here. This is a really great mold. And the crazy thing about this whole entire wave is that they just went all out, just out of nowhere. Like, we got regular versions of the character in the first wave, and then now we have this crazy glow exclusive. It's just like, they went from 0 to 100%, like, immediately. It just sucks at the same time because if you look at like Demon Slayer, for example, while we do have a lot of really great molds in Demon Slayer, there's so much oversaturation of the same characters and very simple molds and a lot of repaints that if you compare it to the Black Clover line here, like the Black Clover line is so simple and elegant and Demon Slayer is just a mess. But that is partly because they've been pulling so much from season 1 versus moving on to the other seasons. Moving on for Attack on Titan fans, I did want to let you guys know over on Big Bad Toy Store's website, they have finally dropped their metallic Mikasa exclusive where she does have the Thunder Spears. So if you guys would like to pick this one up, I do believe it's still in stock, so make sure to head over there. Now, the last thing I do want to cover in this video are the One Piece restocks that have been slowly arriving in. And thank you so much to everybody who did send over photos from the Discord, Instagram, Twitter, all over. Okay, so I don't know if you guys remember this, but about 2 to 3 months ago now, I made a video where I was talking about the fact that before you buy the One Piece pops at crazy prices right now, watch that video essentially because restocks were coming. And here we are 2-3 months later, and they're finally starting to arrive, which is awesome. Now, there is something important to mention here, the distinction between the old stock and the new stock. A lot of people sometimes prefer to collect older dates or first releases of the pops. Thus, that kind of makes them a little bit more valuable versus these new restocks at retail, essentially. And at the end of the day, that's just kind of up to that particular collector who likes that rare variation. If there is enough people willing to pay those prices, then you're going to get that value difference. So if you're ever wondering why you might see like a Zoro pop for $100+ and then you see a new Zoro pop restocking, you're like, that one's $12, why are they charging $100? It's most likely because it's like a first release version of it. Anyways, though, that aside, I do want to go over the ones that are currently restocking right now and arriving. So first up, I want to talk about Frankie here. So Frankie restocks are set to be coming, but he does actually have an error on him. So taking a look at this, I did a side-by-side here for you guys. On the left is the old version of Frankie that a lot of people are charging $100 for. And on the right is the new restock arriving, and that photo is shared from VRare, where you can see on his nose, it's not actually painted silver. Now, according to them and somebody else I was talking to, the whole batch is tainted like that. Of course, we won't fully know this until Entertainment Earth, like a huge retailer like that, starts sending out their pre-orders in like a month or two to see if the full batch is in fact tainted. And if so, it is very possible there is going to be a value discrepancy. And what I mean by that is the same situation as a first release and a new release. In this case, the older ones with the silver painted nose are going to be considered the rare variations, and these new ones are errors essentially. Now you're probably asking yourself, aren't errors usually worth more? Yes, but not in this case because with the silver painted nose, there's less stock out there. And with the non-painted nose that's arriving, there's fresh stock of that. There's going to be an abundance. So something I do want to clear up about this Frankie situation is that this isn't necessarily Funko's fault. A lot of people are blaming Funko, saying their quality control is terrible. While yes, I do agree in multiple instances their quality control is bad, at the same time, this is not a Funko thing, this is a factory thing. Funko unfortunately can't help that once they get the stock in, that the factory forgot to paint 20,000 Frankie's noses, you know? So I feel like that's a weird misconception because Funko gets blamed a lot for different quality control issues, but unfortunately that is the factory. Now, if the factory is messing up a billion times and a lot of pops keep coming messed up, it's probably time to get a new factory, so Funko's definitely at fault for that. But usually when you're mass producing items like this, things are gonna have flaws, unfortunately. Every Funko Pop has its flaws. But this one's kind of a more serious issue just because it's on a grander scale and it's applying to every single unit. Okay, so back to my earlier point about the Silver Nose Frankie being a little bit more rare. I would still hold off on buying that if you prefer that older variation, you like rare stuff, just because we don't know for sure that the whole batch is tainted with those nose errors. I would personally wait until the rest of the stock arrives, because if they're not and they arrive with the silver noses, then you're about to pay $100 for nothing, essentially. Anyways, though, above all else, it does look like the Frankie stock is in fact coming, so if you can't afford $100, just wait a little bit longer. Next up, we have Nami here, and I do believe she's actually been shipping out just recently. I've got a few messages from you guys saying your orders are starting to ship out, so make sure to check your emails and Entertainment Earth orders or wherever you ordered from. But it does seem Nami might have some errors, or she might be changed a little bit from the original one. So check this out. The new one is on the left, where she does actually have a purple earring, and you can tell her hair detail is a lot more thicker, versus the old one on the right does actually have a white earring, and the hair is a little bit more thinner, and you can see the line detail more. Now in this situation, it's maybe possible that that purple earring one is just messed up and it was mispainted. We're gonna have to kind of see this again on a grander scale. And of course, I'm sure you guys are probably like, maybe that's just a fake version of Nami that somebody pulled a picture from. Here's actually a listing from eBay where I did actually collage these photos. This is one of the same looking pops, and it does have a 2023 stamp date on the bottom. So it's possible that the Namis are going to come looking different from the original ones. Now next up, we do have Nico Robin restocks are arriving. I do believe actually somebody found one in store, and here is her with the 2023 date stamp. So that does mean that the stock is arriving over here, or at least in other places, and we should be seeing those pre-orders also be fulfilled. Now, she also does have some kind of error going on here, so check this out. Here is the old on the left one, and on the right, you can see the new variation. It does look like her skirt is different. The skirt detail there seems to be missing, or maybe it's pushed further back or smaller. It's kind of hard to tell on that. Now again, I don't want to 100% confirm these errors. I'm just more so kind of making you guys aware that this might be an issue with all of the stock. Next up, recently as well, just like Nami, Chopper pre-orders have also been being fulfilled. So if you haven't gotten yours yet, again, make sure to check your email. And here's an example of one with a 2023 stamp. Now at first glance with Chopper, I didn't actually see anything different per se, but maybe if someone has them out of box side by side, there might be some differences. Because I do believe there was differences with the Flock Chopper variation versus the Funimation old one and the new one. Next up, it does look like Usopp is starting to process and getting ready to ship over on Entertainment Earth as well. So again, check your orders, and thank you to the follower that sent me that image. And a quick update on Sanji. He hasn't been processing or shipping just yet, but it does look like he has a set date, which is expected on October 12th. So if you guys do have pre-orders, it's very possible it could be fulfilled around then. And thank you Osiris in my Discord for providing that. So those are all the One Piece restock updates we have right now. It does look like a majority of the older wave is in fact being fulfilled after all, which is fantastic news to hear, because not everybody has $50 to like $150 to pay for those original ones. So we're going to see a lot of new stock introduced into the market within the next 2-3 months. So just stay tuned if you don't have any pre-orders on these and if you're still looking for them. And to mention this again really quick, just be prepared with the error situation with a few of these pops. It is possible we could see some crazy price increases on some of the older variations if these newer ones are in fact significantly different. Okay, so that's all the news updates I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you guys have any questions about anything we just discussed, drop them down below and I'll do my best to answer them. With that being said though, thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like down below if you did enjoy, and subscribe and click that notification bell if you're new here. I do want to say a big shout out to all the wonderful Patreon supporters of the channel. You guys rock for supporting myself and the channel. If you guys want to check out the Patreon, the link is down below. We have a Patreon-only Discord where we share a lot of information, news, restocks, updates, links, and more. And lastly, I do want to remind you guys to make sure to be following me on all my social media at SkittleRampage over on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and my Facebook page, so you can stay up to date. All right, love you guys. See you guys in the next one. See you guys later. Bye.